Hello, I'm Meredith McCarthy, and welcome to today's talk time. I thought I would talk about the unconscious bias and what goes on in a client session and things to look out for so we can help assist that client without getting our own stuff in there. So buckle up. I hope you enjoy this one today. Now, first of all, if you have been following, you might have noticed my absence last week. There was a good reason for that. We had the 25th anniversary of the NZAPH, the New Zealand Association of Professional Hypnotherapists Conference in Auckland, New Zealand. And it was fabulous. And I was one of the speakers. And my topic that I was talking on was about unconscious bias. So I thought maybe I might share a little bit of that today and get you thinking about that. If you're thinking about your own practice, if you're already in practice as a hypnotherapist or a therapist, or you're thinking about going into this as a career choice, it's something to consider. A lot of times when I observe my students, they want to go into fix-it mode, and they quite often want to pre-prepare what's going to happen in the session before time. And I can understand that because there's nerves and things like that. And also there is a lot of script-bound hypnotherapists out there that rely on a set script and they sit there reading it quietly while the client is doing hypnosis. I'm not necessarily saying scripts are bad, but they can create an accidental disconnect. So what can happen is if we have an unconscious bias and we think we know all about that person's world and we're projecting our own world onto their session or into their session, that can be a problem. It is really important that in each session you greet that client with curiosity. Curiosity helps us to avoid potential unconscious bias. We all come from different cultural settings where we've been brought up. We have conditioning, okay? So our conditioning of how we were brought up will affect our field of reasoning. It will affect how we understand things that are presented in front of us. So if we don't want to be influenced in that way, it's really important to become aware of unconscious biases that may be rolling in the background that might cause you to go in there into fix-it mode very quickly. Like if you notice in your own mind, you're going, oh, me too, I know exactly what you mean. No, you don't. No, you don't. That client in front of you is not you. It might be similar to your experience, but it's not the same. And if we are avoiding that trap, we do justice to the therapy session. We allow the client space to find their answers in their timing, in their way. Anyway, I thought I'd introduce that concept because it is something that maybe most people do in their daily life. We are running unconscious bias. Unconscious means we're not aware of it. But if we start to look out for it, we become more aware that maybe that's something that's going on. I thought also to give an example, a lot of times in addiction work, there might be someone who presents as a heavy smoker. And if you were a smoker once upon a time, you might relate. You go, oh yeah, me too. I used to smoke 40 a day or whatever that is. The thing is, you might be in danger of overreaching into that person's world and not being sensitive enough to their readiness or their own motivation to want to quit smoking or to change whatever it is that they've come in for. And that's where the curiosity questions come in. Take time to hold space and ask a question and let that person process it. Don't be like a machine gun where you're asking 1,000 questions. Let the person have some space in that space to process between questions. It's not about hurrying through change. It's about allowing that person enough opportunities to self-actualize, to own their stuff, and to go into the real world outside of that session, having had moments where they're joining the dots, they're having light bulb moments of realization. And that's the strong emotion that we need to elicit in that client in front of us, the strong emotion of change. The strongest emotion wins and the clearest intention wins. So they are good things to think about. So as a practitioner, it's really important to investigate a little bit of time, like what's really going on here, rather than assuming anything. Otherwise, your unconscious bias can get in the way. If you do feel like perhaps you have led the client rather than pacing with the client, take that to supervision, clinical supervision, have a chat about it. It's a good time to identify potential unconscious bias that may get in the way of the therapeutic space that you're wanting to create with you and the client. So I hope that's given you a little bit of food for thought. If you're interested in training to become a clinical hypnotherapist, I do offer an online training course, a diploma in clinical hypnotherapy. You can check out that information on NZACH.ac.nz. And I'd love to be your guide. I'm passionate about talking to people about hypnotherapy and how to get good results. This is the main thing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back again next week. And for now, ka kite.